And we now have some breaking political news. U.S. networks are projecting that voters in Georgia have just sent another Democrat to the U.S. Senate in a runoff vote with a razor-thin margin. Katie Simpson joins us now from Washington. So, Katie, this was expected to be close.
Well, Democrats jumped out to an early lead, and even though the numbers flipped back and forth, they ended up with enough to send Raphael Warnock back to the Senate. This is a huge relief for the Biden administration, and it was not entirely unexpected.
Re-elect Warnock! Re-elect Warnock!
Over the final days of this race, Raphael Warnock has been the candidate projecting front-runner energy, a careful balance of confidence and caution.
We should not rest on our laurels. The job is not done. The truth is, my opponent could still win this election.
Compare the Democrats' final rally with that of his Republican opponent. Herschel Walker shook hands and posed for photos with a far more subdued crowd.
What we're hearing from some Republican voters is because control of the Senate isn't on the line, that's dampening some of that enthusiasm.
Big names campaigned for Warnock, aiming to make the current president's life easier. While Democrats control the split Senate, an extra seat means Joe Biden doesn't have to rely as much on unpredictable Democrats, including Joe Manchin of West Virginia and Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona, who have helped block some of his agenda. Republicans want to keep it that way.
I'm fighting hard for Herschel because I think it's important that we have a Republican in that seat.
Because of the grace of God.
The party urged voters to look at the big picture and passed some of Walker's controversies, much of it based on his anti-abortion stance, despite allegations from multiple women he encouraged or paid for their abortions.
Herschel Walker will probably go down as one of the worst Republican candidates in our party's history.
This vote also has implications for the race to be the Republican presidential nominee.
Come on up here, Herschel Walker.
Donald Trump endorsed Walker, hoping to prove to critics he's still influential in battleground states. Last month, some of his Republican critics already wrote him off.
There's significant influence from the former president, and I think that influence probably hurt the party and hurt the party's chances on Election Day.
So, Katie, I gather Republicans are already taking away some lessons from this race.
Yeah, they'll be looking at the Trump factor. How did that influence voters? It was a problem in the midterms, and this will be another blow to Trump's presidential campaign. But in this particular case, candidate quality is a factor. Walker made statements and claims that were unbackable for many in his party. So even before the votes were counted, there were calls for better vetting and higher candidate standards.
All right, Katie Simpson in Washington tonight. Thanks, Katie.
Thanks.